Ahead on 12 News Weekend, a remarkable gift.
Like they say, you can't take it with you. So you might as well use it.
What this Maple Grove man is doing to help others. Plus, controlling the pain, why more people are increasingly turning to acupuncture. But first, a grand vision for the future of the North Hennepin College campus.
This is probably the most significant change we've had in maybe the life of the campus.
12 News Weekend starts right now.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us on 12 News Weekend. I'm Shannon Slatton.
And I'm Delane Cleveland. Big plans are in the works that could make North Hennepin Community College a much different place. The campus is getting input on infrastructure changes that could happen over the next 5 years. It would be a significant investment, one that has a lot to do with light rail. Parking at North Hennepin Community College during the winter is not exactly the most convenient thing in the world.
It sucks, but especially in the winter because you're freezing cold.
Just ask students like Kelvin Shung.
There's too many parking spots away from the school. So I gotta park all the way down there, and then I gotta run to my building.
But in the next few years,
this animation shows the 85th Avenue station platform.
The campus could sit alongside a new light rail line.
The 85th Avenue station provides convenient access to North Hennepin Community College.
On the one hand, students will have another transportation option. On the other hand, the campus parking lot could shrink.
If and when that happens, we have the potential to lose about 80 parking spaces in the west lot.
Essentially, moving fine arts.
North Hennepin showcased 3 different diagrams that outline concepts for the college going forward. It's asking people to vote on the elements they like.
This is probably the most significant change we've had in maybe the life of the campus, where we're looking at a major transportation point change.
Their overall vision also includes a new performing arts center that would be built in conjunction with the city of Brooklyn Park, a new main entrance, and possibly a new parking structure to replace spaces lost by light rail.
This is kind of a very significant era planning the future now, because the light rail is going to have a significant impact potentially on campus. It'll expand our recruiting basis.
While it's not a done deal yet, campus officials see it as a positive.
We're working on developing a lot more partnerships with four-year universities.
And even though the college would initially lose parking spots, so do students like Chung.
So a light rail would definitely be a benefit to us all.
Campus officials say they're about a third of the way through their planning process. Next month, we will begin to see some of the changes near the North Hennepin campus. That's when construction begins for a new Hennepin County library right across the street.
Plans are also taking shape for a new elementary school in the Wayzata district. The new school would be built on land southeast of County Road 47 and Troy Lane. It would serve students in grades K through 5. New homes are also proposed for the site south of the school.
Now to an issue affecting several Northwest metro cities that has drawn the attention of the governor. Crystal, Robbinsdale, and Golden Valley have all passed resolutions in an attempt to block a proposed connection between Canadian Pacific and Burlington Northern Santa Fe rail lines. Those trains would use the new track to haul North Dakota oil and other freight. Governor Dayton has asked federal authorities to include cities in on the planning. In Crystal, one city council member said they're going to fight this tooth and nail.
It's going to affect, everyone in Crystal, absolutely. But some of us more than others. Anyone who lives close to those tracks knows that as it stands right now, there's already a significant amount of traffic goes through there, blaring their horns in the middle of the night. You can barely get any sleep whenever, they're blaring their horns.
There's also concern a rail line connection will increase traffic tie-ups and slow emergency response. The connection was proposed to relieve rail congestion, which has been a problem in the past year.
In our weekend review, Maple Grove's longest-serving council member could lose her seat after all. The Minnesota Court of Appeals ruled the sentence for Leanne Sargent was too lenient for financially exploiting her elderly father. The Hennepin County Attorney's Office appealed the sentence, saying a district court judge should have never sentenced her for a gross misdemeanor because she agreed to a felony plea deal. Sargent did not attend this past week's council meeting. Her case heads back to district court for resentencing. 2 brothers are charged in a marijuana bust that Plymouth police say is one of the largest they've ever seen. William and Ian Anderson are accused of attempting to transfer 200 pounds of high-grade marijuana valued at roughly $750,000. The amount was enough to fill the back of a full-size pickup truck. South Dakota authorities tipped Plymouth police off this past weekend to a shipment coming in from California. And a New Hope man and local firefighter will not be going to Mars after all. Paul Larson applied to be part of a private mission to colonize Mars. More than 200,000 people applied for the one-way ticket to Mars, and Larson made it to the top 500, but not the top 100. Larson is now working as the planetarium director for Mayo High School in Rochester. He says he will apply for the mission again if he can. Now to a remarkable story and a remarkable gift from a Maple Grove man.
Bob Karlstrand is fighting not one but two deadly diseases. Doctors give him only months to live. But as Sonia Goins explains, he's using that time to help others.
Well, right now I feel pretty good.
By all accounts, 65-year-old Bob Karlstrand has lived a very full and active life. He enjoys playing golf.
These were all kept in a box before.
He's hit the greens on at least 535 courses in Minnesota.
And kept track of every course I played.
Bob has also traveled to many places.
You know, Argentina, Bolivia, Peru, Chile, Ecuador.
Bob was also in the Air Force, helping to coordinate B-52 bombers during the Vietnam War.
And then I spent 1 year in Thailand during the Vietnam War in 1969 and 1970.
But now things have slowed down for Bob. He's fighting colon cancer and a terminal lung disease, pulmonary fibrosis.
I have no pain, which is a good part of the disease, but I get short of breath and cough a lot.
No one would blame Bob if he took this time to concentrate on himself.
But nobody knows when they're going to go.
But that's not what he's doing. He's giving away his things to others who might need it the most.
And this is stuff that I'm still sorting through, getting rid of.
He's also donating his house, the one he's lived in for the last 38 years.
But it's been a real good house because it's in a good location.
Bob is donating his house to Twin Cities Habitat for Humanity with one stipulation, that the home goes to a veteran.
So I thought if I give back to a veteran and help them out a little bit when they're starting out, that'd be the best way to go.
When Bob is gone, Habitat will come in and spruce up the place.
Now we get to help another family. I mean, it's just a very wonderful thing that he's done.
Bob's days may be limited, but his spirit will forever live on in the lives he's touched.
Like they say, you can't take it with you. So you might as well use it. And if somebody else can use it, so much better.
Bob also donated his retirement fund to the University of Minnesota Nursing School. The $1 million donation will provide 6 scholarships this year alone. Well, coming up on 12 News Weekend, an alternative for pain relief. We'll explore one treatment that's often misunderstood.
And then later in sports, Hopkins and Minnetonka play a one-point thriller in boys basketball.
But first, relief, sort of, from the chilly weather. Monday does warm up slightly.
At Weaver Lake Elementary in Maple Grove, it was a lesson of trial and error. Fourth graders tested LED lights and low-voltage circuit boards. It's an example of the school's focus on science, technology, engineering, and math. Weaver Lake was recently recognized for having one of the top 3 elementary STEM programs in the country. The goal of STEM is to promote critical thinking skills and creativity-focused learning in preparing students for future careers.
If I go to school to study to be a chemist or a biologist, I'm less likely to find a job. Most of the new jobs are happening in combinations and overlap. So people need to be creative, they need to be collaborative, and they need to be critical thinkers because the landscape for our students is just changing so quickly that we want them to be able to adjust to whatever is coming.
Weaver Lake Elementary topped hundreds of other schools for the STEM Excellence Award, so good for them.
Yeah.
Now to an increasingly common way to treat pain.
While people tend to resort to medications or physical therapy, there's a growing number of patients turning to acupuncture.
There's a point right here I'm going to press.
Once a week,
This point helps move circulation.
Lisa Schmidt visits the HCMC clinic in Golden Valley to seek treatment for chronic pain.
I'm a runner and I've been having hip problems.
All right.
Today, she can add a headache to the mix.
So we'll do a point up here.
But Lena Bestie isn't about to give her traditional painkillers.
A little poke.
Instead,
and that's it.
She's going to insert thin acupuncture needles into Lisa's skin at strategic points in her body.
We'll do these hand ones.
And that's where they'll stay for the next 25 minutes.
When the needle goes in, sometimes I don't even know she puts it in. And I'm like, oh, there's a needle there.
Acupuncture is a form of traditional Chinese medicine.
Most people would relax a lot more than they expect to.
Bestie describes the process as if the body were an electrical circuit board.
So if there's pain, that's sort of an alarm going off in an electrical circuit board, and so you're flipping switches along that circuitry to try and get that pain alarm to shut down.
For Lisa Schmidt, this is her third acupuncture session after several months of physical therapy left her disappointed, and she's already noticed a difference.
I haven't been able to run since October, and then after one session I could run. And I've been able to keep running since, which has been really amazing.
It's a treatment that Bestie says has gained wider acceptance in the past 10 years as people look to cut down on their medications.
So we do a lot of back pain, low back pain, arthritis, knees, hips, ankles. Headaches is another big one.
It's a laundry list of chronic pain issues. And for Lisa, these acupuncture needles help offer her a way out from constant visits to the doctor.
I've never heard anyone regret it, ever.
Acupuncture specialists say the treatments aren't done as an alternative to physical therapy. Instead, acupuncture is meant to be integrated into people's current treatment plans. And if you're worried about cost, check with your insurance company to see if the treatment is covered. You ever given that a try, Shannon?
I haven't, but it looks very interesting.
Yeah, I haven't either, but I'm interested now.
All right, there you go.
Coming up, Basswood Elementary students receive a singing treat via The Voice.
But first, Maple Grove takes on Armstrong in a key boys basketball game. That's coming up in sports with Jay Wilcox.
Welcome back. Jay's here now at sports, and it sounds like an exciting time of year in boys basketball.
Yeah, we really have a lot of good teams in the area this year, and now playoff time coming around, some great end-of-season games here, too. The Armstrong and Maple Grove boys basketball teams were considered the favorites in the West Division in the Northwest Suburban Conference coming into this season. Maple Grove had a chance to wrap up the title when they played at second-place Armstrong. Falcons dominate early. Freshman Race Thompson rips away the rebound and gets the putback. And Armstrong running the break. Thompson sets up Evan Nolan for the hoop. The Falcons lead it by 10 at halftime. In the second half, things tighten up. Juby Alati hits the three here for Armstrong. Tywan Pickford has a good second half for Maple Grove. He gets the putback and the foul, cutting the Armstrong lead to 1. The Falcons build the lead again, though. Alati hitting here from long range from the right side. And Sean Burns with a great pass to Nolan. And Armstrong leads at 52-46. It's a wild finish. With 1 minute to play, Maple Grove is down 1. Pickford follows his own shot and gets the putback for a 56-55 Crimson lead. And Brad Davison gets a steal, and Pickford has gone the other way for 2. Maple Grove wins a thriller 60-55 to wrap up the West Division title. In the Lake Conference, Hopkins hosting Minnetonka. Xavier Johnson comes out firing for Hopkins. This long three is part of a 26-point game for him. Amar Miller hits a spectacular scoop layup plus a foul to put the Skippers in front by 2. Ishmael Elamine gives Hopkins a spark off the bench. He scores 12 in the first half, 18 for the night. Cedric Boone sinks a three from the corner. Minnetonka takes a 36-33 lead into halftime. Second half, and Justin Mose hits a three as Minnetonka goes up by 9. But Hopkins storms back the alley-oop here to John Warren for the jam, and that one gets the crowd going. Johnson nails a couple of threes in a row, including this one in transition as the game goes back and forth. Miller dominates late for the Skippers. This pull-up jumper ties it up at 71-71. Warren answers with a layup in transition and gives Hopkins the lead back 73-71. But Miller hits an amazing shot to tie it, and his free throw puts Minnetonka back in front. So down 3 at the end, Hopkins looking for a tie, but Vincent Shahid's shot is just short at the buzzer as Minnetonka wins 76-73. Eden Prairie also lost that night, so a battle to the finish in the Lake. In girls basketball, Maple Grove is eyeing a West Division title in the Northwest Suburban. The Crimson facing an improved Armstrong team. The Falcons' Lyric Williams with a strong inside move. She scores 2, putting Armstrong up by 4 early. Nice bounce pass for the Crimson. Caroline Griffith to Julie Haggart for 2. The Crimson trail it by 1. Emily Dean hits a jumper from the elbow. Maple Grove goes in front by 4. It's a back and forth first half. Callie Fleck hits a three-pointer for Armstrong. She scores 15 in the game. This one's tied 29-all at the half. Second half, and Williams will take it in transition, and she goes coast to coast. She leads all scorers with 27 in the game. But Maple Grove pulls away to win it. Allie Schmidt scores off the glass as Maple Grove beats Armstrong 68-55. They did lose to Osseo Thursday, pulling the Orioles within one game of the Crimson in the West Division. Well, if you're headed out ice fishing for walleyes yet this winter, consider cutting 2 holes instead of 1. Pro angler Terry Tuma explains in this week's Channel 12 ice fishing tip.
We all know about using 1 and 2 holes for fishing walleye. In fact, we talked about this approximately 20 years ago. When you have a tough bite for walleyes, have 1 hole with a dead stick and the other hole is becoming an attractor. Believe it or not, this works extremely well for fishing crappies for a tough bite fish. In other words, so you're going to have a dead stick rod here. You can also use, I use a spring bobber with a dead stick, put it in a rod holder, but you can use a bobber system on these conditions if you do desire to do that. And then the other rod, you're going to be jigging quite abruptly or quite violently and pounding the bottom. So now all of a sudden this rod becomes the attractor, and the live bait, the minnow, on the dead stick rod becomes the trigger. So you've got an attractor here and a trigger there. It's an excellent way to catch these tough bite crappies under many conditions of fishing pressure and weather conditions. And the body of water we're fishing also is a big factor. Give it a try. You are going to increase your success for tough bite crappies when you're using 2 holes, 1 a trigger, the other becoming an attractor, working extremely well. Be sure to tune next week for another tip, and just keep enough fish to enjoy eating that dinner tonight.
Well, there's one group that didn't mind the cold weather that we've had here. Ice fishing continues on.
I wonder if he's ever caught 2 fish at once, though. That would be a lot to handle.
I think Terry's done just about everything.
That's a good point, he has. Thanks, Jay. Up next, if you dream it, you can do it.
Maple Grove students receive words of inspiration from a famous voice. Welcome back. Finally, a famous voice echoes through a Maple Grove gym.
All the kids know that song. Kat Perkins from television's The Voice spoke to students at Basswood Elementary School on Thursday. The former nanny who grew up on a farm in North Dakota says her time on the show was one of the most scary yet one of the most incredible opportunities of her life. Perkins believes if you dream it, you can do it. Basswood has a similar motto, and that helped the school get Kat to come in for a visit.
I'm always putting feelers out there to the community and to anyone that I feel I can come and contribute to our positive school climate and our message here. And if you don't try, you never know.
And Principal Smith joked he's going to try to get Garth Brooks and Elton John come in next.
Good luck to him.
We'll be there to cover it if you can, we promise. We'll see you next time, everybody.